too often, if your why is not strong enough, if it's not clear enough, if it's not head, heart, gut, soul connected why, then it's easy to give up.
Welcome to the Words of Wisdom podcast. This is the place to be to raise the consciousness within in order to create a life and business of ease, flow, and freedom. This podcast offers inspiring stories, strategies, and special guests to help you become your most aligned self. I am 𝗪𝗵𝘁 𝗪𝗲, a former NBA Toronto Raptors dancer turned ICF accredited spiritual life coach, founder of 𝐻𝙗ℎ of Wisdom Spiritual Life Coaching, and 𝙝𝙤 Academy Coach Training. My soul's mission is to show you the impossible is truly possible. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's get to awakening your soul's wisdom.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Words of Wisdom. I'm so grateful to have you here. So, as usual, I'm always giving you tools, tips, stories around how to create your impossible, your I'm possible. If you can feel it, if you can think it, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. So, today, what I want to talk to you about is, why do you want what you want? Why do you want what you want? Why do you want that relationship, the house, the dream job, a certain amount of income? Why do you want what you want? I know so often that we go after these set goals, as do I, and maybe you've established why you want what you want, or you haven't even really thought about it. Because if I was to ask you that question off the bat, why do you want what you want? What's your first answer? And ask yourself at least 3 or 4 times, why is that important? So, for example, why do you want a certain amount of income a month? Maybe your first answer is so that I can pay the bills. Why is it important to pay the bills? So I can provide for my family. Why is it important to provide for your family? Because perhaps you didn't have that security growing up and you lived in a household where your family didn't have enough to put on the table, or maybe you had enough, but there was always this worry or nagging feeling in the background, or you always were hearing it in your environment, like take off the lights, or what if, we run out of money, or we don't have enough money to pay the bills, like some fear and scarcity and lack was part of your experience that you've noticed. So why is that important? Because you just don't want to live like that. Why don't you want to live that like that? Because you live like that your whole life and you don't want your parents, your kids to live like that. Or you just don't want to continue living like that. Why is it important not to continue living like that? Because you know there's something more possible. There's something possible and there's something else different that is available, and you want to experience that. Now, you can go deeper into that where you're asking, why is that important? Why is that important? Why is that important? So, what I encourage you to do is not just take the first surface answer that comes up, that you want to pay the bills, you want to have enough in the bank, you just want to have a partner, you want to feel love, you want to share this life with somebody. I encourage you to go deeper and ask yourself why. To be honest, I do it at least like 5 to 7 times. But now I'm so clear on my why, and I'll share with you what my why is. I'm so clear on my why that I use this when I feel like I'm asking myself, why am I doing this? Like, what's the purpose behind this? And it gives me that extra motivation during the times where it is hard, where it's rough, because that's bound to happen when it's not as easy as I would like it to be. So, number one, what is your why? And number two, why is your why a why? Hopefully that makes sense. Why is your why a why? So go deeper into that. At least I said 3 to 4 times. And as you can see, the first time you can get to a why, but you can even go deeper. Feel free. But when you feel like you really hit home, it does something to your core. You feel a vibration, you feel a shake, you feel emotional, you feel moved by it. So you can go anywhere from 3 to 7 times where you ask your why. Now, the other thing I want to share about why do you want what you want and why it's important to know your why is because too often, if your why is not strong enough, if it's not clear enough, if it's not head, heart, gut, soul connected why, then it's easy to give up. It's easy to lose your way. And so for me, my why is to show it is possible and it's available. Any reality is available to us in money, in business, in life, in health. There's so many multiple infinite possibilities available to us. But too often, we choose such a limited, one track, one minded reality, one of struggle, one of force, one of burnout, one that's been told to us. We didn't even question it for ourselves, one that just feels off for us, but we keep aiming for that. We keep aiming for somebody else's reality. So we don't stop long enough to consciously choose the reality we want and why we want it. The reason it's important to go deeper into your why and have a powerful why that is like head, heart, gut, soul connected, like that shakes you to your core, that moves you to emotion, is because if it's something about just to have money in the bank account, just to buy things, just to have, those are great. Those are valid. Those are all wonderful to experience. Don't get me wrong. But what happens is that when it doesn't show up or when it hasn't shown up yet, or it's not going the way you want it to go or as quickly as you want it to manifest, you're going to quit. You're going to give up. You're going to lose your way. You're going to get frustrated. You may start making decisions that are not in alignment and in support of you bringing in what is truly possible and available for you. Because when it doesn't show up, like for example, if your why is just, to have money in the bank or to have enough clients to feel legit in whatever trade you're in. Now, when I work with a lot of coaches through my school, 𝙝𝙤 Academy, and I hear when I have enough clients, then I'll be legit. When I make this amount of money, then I'm going to feel secure. So what happens is when the clients don't come in, when the money doesn't come in, they're not going to feel secure. You're not going to feel secure. You're not going to feel legit, right? And then you're stuck in that vibration, in that holding pattern where you're not going to allow in and receive what it is you want to hold and experience and see, feel in your environment, in your physical experience. So when, again, to recap that, so when there's a lack of what it is you want, when you're noticing the absence of it, you're more likely to give up. Versus if you find a deeper meaning, then during those hard times that it's all for the greater purpose. So for example, my why is to show you it's possible and it's available. So when I'm on Instagram showing the type of life I have or the day I have or what great thing has happened, it's not to brag, it's not to show off. Yes, that occurs in my mind. Are people going to think that? But I connect to my why and think, no, I'm here to show what's possible and what's available for people to choose for themselves, whether that's exactly what I'm choosing for myself or showing you what's possible, that there are other varieties, there's other possibilities out there for choose, something different than what you're experiencing if you're not at peace and content with what you have. I mean, you should always be content with what you have, but hopefully you get my point here. It's to show you what is possible, what is available, and there's greater possibilities out there that so often we don't choose for ourselves or we're not even aware for ourselves. So for me, I use my why when I create my podcast, even this episode, when I do my content, when I create my programs. anything I do. And when things are not moving fast enough in terms of business and money and, in my personal life, when things are not always unfolding and things happen, right? Like things happen. I'm going to do another thing about like the positive side that's always being shown. I'm going to talk deeper into that. But I'm showing you what's possible for a reason, to show you what's possible for you. And there's something extra, there's something different, there's something more expansive and infinite available for you. And so, in so many ways, when things go off, and it always, I don't even want to say off, but like it's up and down. This is the human experience. I have my bad days. I have a weekend where I'm like, oh God, like that was not an enjoyable weekend. And I don't always post it, and I don't need to post it to prove that you can still manifest when there's highs and lows. And sometimes I do. I just do what I want to do when I want to do it. But the reason I'm sharing this is because even in the bad days, even in the rough times, even in the low times, when I ask myself, like, why is this happening? I connect to my why. It's to actually show people what's possible, to show what else is available. And this is part of that mission. So your why takes you so much further. So if you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? You feel a little exhausted, you feel defeated, you may feel a little off track. You may feel like you've lost your way and you just needed that reminder. You needed that connection. Needed that rezest, that refresh in your motivation, in your actions, in your creating and manifesting of new realities. Connect to your why. Why do you want what you want? And then go deeper into that, like why is that important? At least 3 to 7 times. And connect to that often, anytime you want. And the more you connect to that, the more that becomes a driving force that you don't have to connect to it every day, but choose what feels good for you. You may want to write it out, put it on your wall, or you may want to just recite it to yourself. You want to do it tonight. You want to journal it, however way you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way. Just be clear on your why and go deeper into that and remind yourself. Because there's even moments where I don't obviously visit it every single day now because I'm very clear on that. But there's even a moment I had a mentor mention to me, ask me my why, and it was refreshing, and it was just kind of like pinpointed me again. Like it's almost like a laser, and it's kind of like looking for the center. This is probably a bad example, but I feel like that laser point just comes back, refocuses in the middle, like of the bullseye. That's how I felt. And so we always need that reminder to remind yourself, ingrain it within you, and know that you're always on track. There's no off track. This is part of the human experience. Well, my friends, that's it for me today. Sending you all so much love and light.